Yeah, this looks ugly. I gotta change oil on this thing, and because of the way the oiling system is laid out with this crazy filter, it doesn't really matter how long it takes to do it, but I just want to be clean also. So like I'm gonna stab the filter and drain that before I even spin it off, and I gotta drain it out of the sump on the other side. But I'm gonna hit this thing. Hopefully I can knock a hole in it easily. Nice. Okay. I'll leave that there. So like I got this big stupid filter on here, and it also has the oil cooler, and I'll drain it from the other side. I'll wait for the filter to come down, you know. But it's got the quick drain over here. I do have a hose, no problem. I should pop the cap. Good enough. I'll have to show you the secret that I do after I get the whole thing drained and I fill it up. I gotta try to pre-charge the filter as much as I can. It's less work for the pre-lube that I'm gonna be doing later. It's only like 15, 17, 18 hours or something on it, but it's like 3 years old at least. So she's due. Yeah, I'll get into a little bit more of that. I get the filter drained, get that spun off there, and I get the sump starting to drain because it's still a little bit, it's still warm enough. I want to get it dumped while I can. I give her a little helping hand. Yeah. These things usually hold like about 1.5 quarts. If I ain't mistaken, right in about there. I think this thing holds a little over 3 with that setup on there now. Running board doesn't like that too much, but they'll be alright. There's another thing a lot of people don't do either. Hard to see it. The cooler is draining out right now. And people spin it off too quick and spin a new filter on there, and it's still dumping all that dirty oil out of the cooler. Of course, this makes an issue now. We still got to get the oiling system primed before we start this thing up, unless we want to burn it up. I'll stuff a couple rags there right now. We got to drain it over here. Don't look too bad. Just try to get, it does got a little stink to it. It's not real dark, but I threw a nice shot of Marvel in there before I dumped it. Phew, I can smell it. Yeah, she pretty much dumped out. So, like one important thing to do, I'm gonna have to tilt the tractor on its side a little bit because I want to try to get as much oil in that filter as I can. I mean, I know it's a different number. The difference between this one and this one is mainly that one has a higher number on the micron rating and a little bit higher on the bypass valve pressure, but same case of the filter and everything. Yeah, I'll pull that rag out of there. Alright, I got the filter loaded up there. Takes almost 1 quart. Well, it's almost loaded up. It sucked it down a little. So I like butter. Alright, sweet. Done deal. Alright. I'm gonna close the sump on the other side, start putting some oil in it. And for those keeping track at home, there's 2 quarts there, and almost polished off a third one. There's a couple ounces left in here. Filter's on. I am up to the full mark, and I gotta prep up for the next little trick here. Maybe that'll give you an idea. Alright, that's what I did, man. I pulled the spark plugs out. So what I'm gonna end up doing, so I get this thing primed up, because it's got to get up in the oil cooler, and it's got to get through the rest of the filter. Crank it over for a whole bunch until I get oil pressure, and you probably end up doing it in a couple cycles, but since the plugs aren't in it, you can crank it over quite a bit, probably for like a good 15-20 seconds maybe. You know, I'm not gonna kill a starter, but we'll let it go for a while. So let's see what we get. See if I can prop here, kinda. All right. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let it settle for a little bit, a couple of minutes, because the oil's cold and all that. I'm gonna go over, I'm gonna see how much I need to add, and I'll probably crank it over again until I can get a steady oil pressure out of it. And this gives me a couple minutes, lets the starter cool off. It wasn't that bad, it cranks over easy with no plugs in it. So I ended up letting it settle, and it was down at the add mark. I topped it off the rest of the bottle, so that puts it right at about 3 quarts there. And I was going to give it some ignition on and fire it up. I threw the plugs back in it and see what kind of oil pressure we get. Kick the fuel on, which I don't have a lot left of. Let's see. Kick the choke off too soon. That's all right.